Hi friends, welcome back to Sips and Stories. JJ here. So inspiration. Sometimes it doesn't come from a desk or a notebook. Sometimes it comes from memories. Those little snapshots of life that stay with you and eventually grow into stories. For me, one of those places is Key West. Now, I don't have a long history with Key West, just 2 visits years apart, but both of them left an impression that's never really gone away. The first time I went, I was only 3 years old. We were in our motorhome, parked at a campground, celebrating my birthday with family and our dogs. I don't remember every detail because I was only 3, but I do remember the feeling of it, the fun of being outside, the laughter, the simplicity. My 3rd birthday was spent in Key West, and that's something I'll always hold on to, and I have the memories and the pictures to prove it. The second time I went was in 2010, and that trip was completely different. I wasn't a kid anymore, and I got to see Key West through fresh eyes. We did one of those open-air train tours, the kind where you just sit back, sip a drink, and let someone else guide you through the town. The drinks melted almost faster than we could sip them in that Florida heat, but that just made it more fun. I laughed the whole time, and then of course there were the chickens. If you've ever been to Key West, you know exactly what I mean. They roam everywhere, strutting down the streets like they own the place. And honestly, they kind of do. We spent the days walking, exploring, and breathing in that salt air, something I still love to this day. One night I watched the sunset in the ocean, and then hours later I stayed up long enough to watch the sun rise again over the water. It's one of those simple things that feels like a luxury, standing at the edge of the ocean, watching the sky change colors. I do that practically every day, no matter where I am, whether there's an ocean or not. But the highlight of that trip was the dessert bar. If you've heard of Better Than Sex, then you know. The name might make you pause, but the place, completely unforgettable. I had cheesecake bites, I think, and champagne in a glass dipped in chocolate. Chocolate clung to the rim, sweet and decadent, and the whole experience felt indulgent and magical. It was one of those moments that locks itself into your memory forever. And that's why my Key West series begins right there, at Better Than Sex. The first book follows Mavis. She's 25, she's sweet and a little naive. She's the kind of woman who still wants to see the best in everyone. It's a beautiful trait, but it also makes her vulnerable. Her story begins with tragedy. When she was just 10 years old, her parents died in a car accident. In that moment, her whole world changed. She went to live with her uncle Gus, who was only 25 himself. Gus had been a professional surfer, chasing waves and competitions all over the world. For him, the ocean was where he felt closest to God. Out there with nothing but his board, the waves, and the horizon. That was his sanctuary. But when his brother and sister-in-law died, Gus gave up surfing as a career. He came home, he opened a surf shop, and he raised Mavis. But surfing didn't disappear altogether. It became their sacred rhythm. It was how Gus showed her that God was still near, even in the middle of loss. Out in the water, they could feel his presence. The ocean became their church. Now grown, 25 herself, Mavis still carries that with her. She slips into the waves, not just for fun, but as her time with God. It's how she prays, how she listens, and how she remembers she's not alone. But that steady faith is challenged when she meets Henry. Henry is an investment banker. He's smart, successful, and, well, an atheist. He's determined to convince Mavis that God doesn't exist. And Mavis, gentle and naive as she is just as determined to show him that he does. And that's where the heart of her story lives, in the tension between faith and doubt, sweetness and skepticism, love and resistance. Mavis doesn't fight back with sharp words or fiery arguments. She doesn't know how to be anyone other than who she is. Her faith is steady even when people try to shake it. And in her own quiet way, she becomes a light in Henry's very dark, very logical world. And all of it unfolds in Key West, a place where the sunsets feel eternal, where chickens roam like locals, where dessert can feel like a love story, and where the ocean itself becomes a meeting place between humanity and God. And that's what makes Key West so special to me. Even with just 2 visits, it left me with colors, flavors, and memories that became the backdrop of something bigger. It's proof that sometimes, even in the smallest brush with a place, can inspire an entire story. One day, I'd love to go back. I'd love to ride the train tour again, laugh about the melting drinks, wave at the chickens, watch another sunrise, and yes, sip champagne from a chocolate-dipped glass. But until then, I get to visit Key West through Mavis's eyes, through her innocence, her faith, her heartbreak, and her hope. And maybe that's what writing really is. Taking the little pieces of your life, even the ones you think are too small to matter, and turning them into something that does. So let me ask you, have you ever had a trip that left such an impression you still carry it with you years later? I'd love to hear about it. Thanks for spending this time with me tonight. Until next week, keep chasing the memories, savoring the little joys, and fighting inspiration in the sweetest places. And as always, sweet dreams. God bless, and good night.